Little high school football history for you tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Barron Collier's never been in the playoffs. They're 10-0. 10-0 is great, but unless you make it 11-0 or go past the 10-0, you tend to forget about the other 10. They want to make it a great 11 tonight. The Cougars are going where no Barron Collier team has gone before. The first round of the state high school football playoffs takes BC to Bradenton tonight to play for the regional championship against Southeast High. Now, despite their 10-0 record, the Cougs go in as underdogs. Our Tom Tidy has a look at what they've got to do to beat the odds.
All right, here we go. 32 be released. All right, 32 be released.
There's no more time for talking. For Barron Collier and Bradenton Southeast, it's time to play football. Tonight's game should be this season's toughest test for the Cougars. The 6-4 Seminoles don't throw the ball much, but then again, they don't have to. Their strong running game is helped by a mammoth offensive line.
They've got an offensive tackle that weighs about 340. I think he's a sophomore. I would say they average on the offensive line weighing about 245, 250. We need to stay real consistent, try to outsmart them a little bit, and maybe out-finesse them.
There's one player that both teams will be watching tonight. For Barron Collier to win, Terry Dean will have to produce. For Bradenton to win, the Dean of Southwest Florida quarterbacks will have to be on the bench.
If we can have the football and use up the clock and score points, that keeps their great quarterback on the bench, which is the best place for him. That's kind of our best pass defense, if you know what I mean, when he's not in the ball game.
And their offense is too potent to give them the ball. You know, if they have the ball enough times, they're going to score. So we're going to have to just be real patient and keep our offense out on the field and try to work the clock a little bit.
Soon that clock will be ticking. Bradenton has the playoff experience, while Barron Collier has the perfect 10-0 record. Tonight we'll find out who has the better team. Tom Tidy, Wink Sports.
And keep it here at 11 for the complete story of the Collier Cougars' first playoff game. Well, there'll be no taunting and no brawling, just tackles and touchdowns. At least that's the way it's supposed to work when the Miami Hurricanes host the top-ranked Notre Dame Fighting Irish tomorrow night. Now, both teams have been warned by their coaches to try and keep this game between the lines. They don't want a repeat of last year's pregame fight or the verbal sparring that's gone on since the Irish edged the Canes 31-30 on the way to the national championship last year. I'll have a preview of the Miami Notre Dame game for you tonight at 11. Well, all you Packer backers out there have got to be happy with the way Green Bay's played this year. The Pack's just a game behind the Vikings in the NFC Central. They knocked off the Super Bowl champion 49ers last Sunday. And someone who knows a thing or two about Super Bowls, Packer Hall of Famer Willie Wood, who played in the first two, says, yeah, it looks like the Pack is back.
But you can see a marked improvement over the team over the last couple of years. And I would imagine maybe next year this time, you know, we can seriously be considered as contenders.
What about Don Mikowski? Does he remind you of Bart Starr at all?
I think Mikowski is perhaps maybe a little better athlete than Bart. Bart was more of a precision-type passer, and of course Bart was a very intelligent football player. And in that sense, I guess there might be some similarities.
The Packers are looking for their first playoff berth since 1982 and maybe, just maybe, their first Central Division championship since 1972. And Dennis Conner's ship has come in to Southwest Florida. The America's Cup skipper has been named the honorary Commodore of the new St. Charles Yacht Club in Fort Myers. He was in town today, and I asked him if the legal maneuvering going on in the courts between the U.S. and New Zealand has taken any of the luster off the Cup.
Well, as you can imagine, the competitors want to settle this out on the water, not in the courts. And really makes us all sick to our stomachs to be tied up in litigation. It's just not the way that sport was supposed to be. And we can't wait to get it back out on the water.
But unfortunately, it's going to be a judge that decides when they get back onto the water. The New York Supreme Court's got to hear the latest appeal by New Zealand. Right now, America has the Cup. We'll have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah.